I was here in '77 when Walter Payton came in here the day after he had rushed for 275 yards against Minnesota, and I lined them up right here in this chair, and there go the picture to prove it.
Oh. Daddy, tell me something. How do we know that's really Payton?
Walter Payton.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of RT Essentials. I'm Jacqueline Coley. Although Black filmmakers have been a part of Hollywood since the early days of moving motion pictures, they have often been marginalized and stereotyped throughout the years. But things are improving, and new standards are being set in part thanks to the films and filmmakers we'll be talking about today. And yes, Whoopi, Spike, and Beyonce, and even more people with more than one name are on this list, and all of them are likely to bring a smile to your face. Because this list is our list of the best movies that celebrate Black joy. Dreamgirls.
Stop bringing us down and get back there.
Why, Curtis? You don't need me. All you care about is her bony ass.
You could back off.
Or what?
Hopefully we didn't catch you daydreaming as we kick off this list with the 2006 musical drama Dreamgirls. The Academy Awards darling was directed by Bill Condon and stars Jamie Foxx, Beyonce Knowles, Eddie Murphy, and Jennifer Hudson in her acting debut. It was adapted from 1981 Broadway musical of the same name, which was inspired in part by the famous Motown record label act, The Supremes. The film looks at the evolution of R&B music in the 1960s and 70s through the eyes of a Detroit girl group called the Dreamettes, and later, just the Dreams, consisting of Deanna, played by Beyonce, Effie, played by J. Hud, and L'Oreal, played by Anika Noni Rose. After the girl group gets discovered by Jamie Foxx's ambitious manager character, Curtis Taylor Jr., they find themselves as backup singers for a national star, played by Murphy. Curtis takes creative control of the group and pushes them into the spotlight, which is only big enough for just one of them to become a star, while the others are forced out, all in part due to the high cost of fame. And don't we all know how high that cost is?
New wigs, the expensive kind. Brand new costumes to appeal to a younger crowd. And, Effie. Denny's gonna sing lead.
Dean is doing what?
With a production budget of around $80 million, this was one of the most expensive films ever to feature a predominantly Black cast and crew at the time. And the result? 8 Oscar nominations in 2007, the most that year, and picking up 2 of those for Best Sound Mixing and, of course, Best Supporting Actress for Jennifer Hudson. In her acting debut, y'all. Critics had plenty of love for the certified fresh Dreamgirls as well, with an overall consensus praising the film's electrifying performances and the dazzling musical numbers, while James Christopher from The Times UK called it a glossy, gleaming Cadillac of a film with a vintage rhythm and blues engine. So, guys, let's go take it for a spin. Drumline.
Whatever you big bald-headed bougie, my first drum having.
No method, man?
Yeah, fluff daddy. Say I'm better than you.
Try to hear you.
You ain't heard me since I stepped on campus.
Cause I know what you about.
You know about me.
Marching to the beat of its own drumline is the next film on our list. Yep, you guessed it, 2002's coming-of-age teen drama, Drumline. Directed by Charles Stone III from projects like Bernie Mac's Mr. 3000 and Mekhi Phifer's Paid in Full, this film was inspired by the college experience of famed music producer Dallas Austin, who's produced the likes of NSYNC, Janet Jackson, TLC, and Boyz II Men, just to name a few. Nick Cannon, in his first film role, stars as Devin Miles, a talented street drummer from Harlem who graduates high school and finds himself enrolled in a historically Black college near Atlanta, one that takes enormous pride in its marching band. Expecting to be the top dog in the band's drum line, Devin ends up butting heads with the leader of the drum section, played by Leonard Roberts, while also finding time to woo an upperclassman dancer, played by Zoe Saldana.
Mr. Miles, I guess you didn't like the required piece as written.
Nah, I just thought I'd add a little something on the end.
Impressively, Nick Cannon did much of his own drumming on screen. I know it's pretty wild, but perhaps even more impressive is the fact that Nick and Zoe were nominated for Best Kiss at the 2003 MTV Movie Awards, and while they didn't win, in this case, it truly was an honor just to be nominated because they lost to possibly the most iconic kiss in cinema, Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Upside Down in Spider-Man. Drumline was deemed a success at the box office, pulling in almost $60 million that resulted in a 2014 TV movie sequel, which premiered on VH1 with Nick Cannon returning, but only in a supporting role. He passed the sticks, if you will, to newcomer Alexander Shipp, who stars in this version. And with a 91% certified fresh rating on the tomato meter, critics were lining up to compliment Drumline with a consensus that it's essentially a sports movie with drums. The energetic film somehow manages to make the familiar seem fresh. Love and basketball.
I'll play you.
What?
One game, one-on-one.
For what?
Your heart.
You're out of your mind.
The next film was an absolute slam dunk to be on this list for a few reasons, and I'm talking about the 2000 sports drama Love and Basketball. Spike Lee was among the producers for this film, which was written and directed by Gina Prince Bythewood in her directorial debut. She said her goal was to write a semi-autobiographical film that felt like a Black Harry meets Sally. In the film, Sanaa Lathan and Omar Epps star as Monica and Quincy, or Q, childhood friends and next-door neighbors growing up in Los Angeles where they both aspire to be professional ball players. Quincy's father, Zeke, played by Dennis Haysbert, is an NBA All-Star, and Quincy is a natural phenom on the court, while Monica is not the star of the team, but is intensely competitive. Over the years, the two find ways to challenge each other while also eventually falling for one another. But, of course, their basketball dreams are on separate paths, making it harder for them to stay together. The film also performed fairly decent at the box office and has built a cult following throughout the years. Perhaps it's the Major League 2 reunion with Omar Epps and Dennis Haysbert, or the appearance of Gabrielle Union, who auditioned for the lead role but was cast as Quincy's high school girlfriend, or it could be the fact that Omar Epps played a character named Q once before in the 1992 Tupac movie, Juice. Or maybe people just really, really love Love and Basketball, and I am absolutely one of them. Critics called this certified fresh flick a winner, with a consensus that its confident directing and acting deliver an insightful look at young athletes. The Chicago Reader's Lisa Alspector further praised Lathan and Epps, saying they reveal their characters' motives with nuances of expression that transcend the dialogue. Barbershop.
And then, with a straight face, got the nerve to want to be somebody. Want somebody to respect you. But it take respect to get respect. Understand?
Whether you're looking for a lineup, a fade, twist out, or locks, go ahead and grab a seat and go ahead and lift up that chair, because our next film is 2002's Barbershop. This dramedy is about the day in the life of a barbershop on the south side of Chicago, and it stars Ice Cube as Calvin, who inherited the struggling haircutting business from his late father and sees it as nothing more than a burden. So without telling anyone, he sells the barbershop to a greedy loan shark played by Keith David, who secretly plans to turn it into a strip club. But as Calvin starts to realize just how important the barbershop is to the community, he looks for a way to get it back. Cube is joined by an ensemble cast that includes Anthony Anderson, Sean Patrick Thomas, Eve, Troy Garrity, Cedric the Entertainer, and Michael Ealy in his first major acting role. And one of the film's producers, George Tillman Jr., said he was looking to achieve something similar to the 1997 certified fresh film Soul Food, which he wrote and directed by portraying African Americans in a more positive and three-dimensional light than many other Hollywood films had done in the past.
Calvin, how come he gets to eat out front while the rest of us
Because
gotta eat
Eddie
back?
old, man. You see this? You see that right there? You know what that mean? That mean I got seniority.
The film also edged up the competition at the box office, grossing nearly $80 million on a $12 million budget, and opened the door for a couple of sequels, with much of the core cast returning, plus a barbershop series and a spin-off called Beauty Shop with Queen Latifah in the lead role. Critics took just a bit off the side of their assessment with this certified fresh film, with IndieWire's Wilson Morales saying that it put forth a dialogue with a high sense of realness that folks could relate to. An overall consensus from critics is that besides bringing up the laughs, Barbershop displays a big heart and demonstrates the value of community. Black is King.
We have always been wonderful. I see us reflected in the world's most heavenly things. Black is King.
All right, everyone. Prepare to revel in the beauty, grace, and artistry of following Beyonce Knowles across the globe in a celebration of Black women. And that's because we're talking about her 2020 musical film, Black is King. Written, directed, and executive produced by Beyonce Knowles, which she calls a passion project, this is a visual companion to the 2019 album The Lion King, The Gift, which was curated and produced by Beyonce. It tells the story of a young African prince who is exiled from his kingdom after his father's death. He undergoes a journey of self-identity as he becomes a man using the guidance of his ancestor, played by Beyonce, along with a childhood love and his own subconscious trying to reclaim his throne. The journey for the prince serves as an allegory for the African diaspora's journey of discovery, reclaiming and celebrating their culture and heritage, which is accentuated by the spoken word poetry that focuses on the question of Black identity.
History is your future. One day you will meet yourself back where you started, but stronger.
The super mega top secret project was released on Disney Plus, where it was responsible for a reported 3 million new subscribers for the platform. And with numbers like that, to quote her husband, Beyonce is more than just a businesswoman, she is a business woman. And Beyonce is not the only family member that got in on the mix. You can also catch her young daughter, Blue Ivy, singing on the single Brown Skin Girl, for which she actually won a Grammy. Black is King received a total of 6 Grammy nominations, including Best Musical Film, and won a couple for Best Music Video and Best R&B Performance, which made Beyonce the most awarded singer and female artist in Grammy history with 28. I mean, did anybody doubt it? Beyonce put all of her earnings from Disney back into the project to ensure they had the best crew and production for the film, and the result was a certified fresh hit with fans and critics, with a consensus that simply states Beyonce is King. While Kate Young from NPR went a little further, saying that drawing on the themes of The Lion King, inheritance, self-identity, and determination, Knowles repurposes the story as a clarion call to Black people. Black Panther.
Check these out. Remote access Kimoyo beats. Updated to interface directly with my send table.
And what are these?
The real question is, what are those?
The next film on our list is definitely super, and not just because it's a superhero. It's 2018's Black Panther. It was way back in 1992 when Wesley Snipes tried to get a Black Panther film made and just couldn't make it happen. He instead went on to become Blade, opening the door for Chadwick Boseman. Boseman stars as T'Challa and Black Panther alongside others like Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, Martin Freeman, Daniel Kaluuya, Letitia Wright, Winston Duke, Angela Bassett, and Forest Whitaker. Boseman first appeared as the character in 2016's Captain America Civil War, before officially arriving on the scene with this film, which finds T'Challa crowned as King of Wakanda following his father's death, but he is challenged by Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan, who wants to change the country's policy and kick off a global revolution. Written and directed by Ryan Coogler, this was the 18th film in the MCU and marked the first Marvel Studios film with a Black director and a predominantly Black cast. Plus, with over $1.3 billion made at the global box office, this is the highest grossing film ever made by a Black director, so let's give it up for Ryan Coogler.
You cannot talk! One more word, and I will feed you to my children.
I'm kidding, we are vegetarians.
Black Panther also received 7 Oscar nominations, including the first Best Picture nom for a superhero film and the first Oscar win for an MCU film after taking home trophies for Best Costume Design, Best Original Score, and Best Production Design. The sequel to Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, is due in November of 2022, but sadly, Chadwick Boseman died in August of 2020 from colon cancer. And instead of recasting the character for the sequel, Letitia Wright, who plays his younger sister, is expected to have a more prominent role. There's also a TV series set in Wakanda that's in development at Disney Plus because, as they say, Wakanda Forever. Fans and critics loved this certified fresh film, with an overall consensus from critics that Black Panther elevates superhero cinema to thrilling new heights while telling one of the MCU's most absorbing stories and introducing some of its most fully realized characters. Sister Act 2, back in the habit.
I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Sister Mary Clarence, and I am...
Yo, mama?
No, sir, let's talk about your mama, who's so dumb she got hit by a parked car. Thank you.
If you'd like to see Lauryn Hill singing on screen long before she ever joined the Fugees, or perhaps seeing Oscar winner Whoopi Goldberg sing and dance in Habit alongside the likes of Jennifer Love Hewitt and Fergie, well, I've got the film for you. It's Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit. This 1993 musical comedy was directed by actor Bill Duke and is the sequel to 1992's Sister Act, with Whoopi Goldberg reprising her role. This time around, Goldberg's Dolores Van Carter is back working as a Las Vegas performer when she gets a surprise visit from her nun friends, asking for her to return as Sister Mary Clarence, but this time, instead of turning a ragtag group of nuns into an amazing choir, she's tasked with turning a ragtag group of teens into an amazing choir in the hopes of keeping their school from closing. Along with Goldberg, most of the original cast reprised their role in the sequel as well, including Dame Maggie Smith, Kathy Najimy, Wendy McKenna, and Mary Wicks.
So you come to class, you do nothing, and you pass.
Oh, no, we don't exactly do nothing. We have a good time, too.
And for the second year in a row, Goldberg earned an MTV Movie Award nomination for Best Comedic Performance, and for the second year in a row, she lost to Robin Williams. First for Aladdin, and then this time around for Mrs. Doubtfire. But I can't really argue with their choice. Luckily, she has another chance to take home that elusive award because after years of discussion, Sister Act 3 is finally happening on Disney Plus, with Tyler Perry serving as a producer alongside Goldberg, who is among those reprising their role. I guess there ain't no mountain high enough to stop this trilogy. The film had an outstanding haul of nearly $125 million at the box office and has since become a beloved classic. With a Rotten Tomato meter score of 19%, consensus from critics is that Sister Act is off-key in this reprise, fatally shifting the spotlight from Whoopi Goldberg to a less compelling ensemble of pupils and trading its predecessor's sharp comedy for unconvincing sentiment. Whatever. But as we like to say on our podcast, Rotten Tomatoes is wrong. Rotten Tomatoes is wrong. Dope.
If you're busy, I can come back tomorrow or later.
No, they're about to leave.
Yeah, we were dipping.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Hi. Bye, guys.
Next up on this list of best movies to celebrate Black joy is the 2015 comedy Dope. Written and directed by Rick Famuyiwa, who has been busy directing episodes of The Mandalorian lately, this film is about high school senior Malcolm, played by Shameik Moore, who enjoys life with his friends as they bond over 90s hip-hop culture and play in a punk band together. A chance encounter lands Malcolm and his crew at a nightclub birthday party for a drug dealer named Dom, played by rapper A$AP Rocky. And as things turn violent, the kids flee. But not before Dom secretly hides a drug stash in Malcolm's backpack. Adventure ensues from there as they try to elude the dangerous people who are after the drugs and maybe try to sell them in the interim.
Hey, you asked me to do something for you? I'm like, what? I'm down. I don't give a f.
because you're my people, all right? You're my and this is where I would insert that word.
It's nothing personal. You still my but I gotta slap the shit out of you based on principle.
It was a breakout role for Shameik Moore, also a talented singer and dancer who had only played small parts before getting cast as the lead. And although with A$AP Rocky, who auditioned after helping his then girlfriend Chanel Iman get her part as Lily, the cast includes Zoe Kravitz, Tony Revolori, former Lakers player Rick Fox, Blake Anderson from Comedy Central's Workaholics, and Kiersey Clemons in her very first role. Forrest Whitaker, who serves as the film's narrator, also produced the film alongside Sean Combs and Pharrell Williams. The certified fresh film premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 2015 to rave reviews. The consensus from critics was that Dope features a star-making performance for Shameik Moore and a refreshingly original point of view from writer-director Rick Famuyiwa. Dope is smart, insightful entertainment. Queen of Katwe.
Checkmate! She won! She won! Fiona's won! Hey, Joseph, you are not serious. A girl has given you checkmate.
What? Lupita Nyong'o makes another appearance on our list because we're talking about the 2016 family drama Queen of Katwe. The film stars David Oyelowo alongside Nyong'o with newcomer Medina Nawenga, who plays 10-year-old Fiona, a girl who struggles alongside the rest of her family in the slums of Uganda. But her world is forever changed after she meets a young missionary named Robert Kadente, played by Oyelowo, who teaches children how to play chess. Her fascination with the game soon evolves into her becoming a top player under Robert's guidance. Her success opens the door to a bright future and an amazing chance to escape from a life of poverty while becoming one of the world's best chess players.
I fear certain things will never change.
You are the youngest ever player to take Uganda to the chess Olympiad. Things are changing.
The biographical drama was directed by Mira Nair, who also decided to turn this into a feature film after making a documentary about the life of Robert Kente, which in turn was adapted from an ESPN magazine article and the book by Tom Carruthers. The result was a dual production from Walt Disney Pictures and ESPN Films. Queen of Katwe was produced in Uganda and South Africa, and most of the songs from the film are popular Nigerian songs heard all over the continent. Alicia Keys also wrote and recorded the song Back to Life for the film. Thank you, Miss Keys. With a certified fresh 94% on the tomato meter, critics clearly loved the film. Stephanie Abraham from Bitch Media said, "As audiences and actors demand more complex roles for people of color, let's hope we see more groundbreaking projects like this one." And the overall consensus is that Queen of Katwe is a feel-good movie of uncommon smarts and passion and outstanding performances by Lupita Nyong'o and David Oyelowo, help to elevate this film past its cliches. Girls Trip.
Look at me. Okay, come on now. You heard what Brian said. Just be cool.
I'm gonna be cool. I just want to say hi, that's all. Wait, I'm gonna just say hello.
No, don't you say hello.
As we're coming to the close of our list, let's leave on a high note and take a trip down to New Orleans because we're talking about 2017's Girls Trip. Directed by Malcolm D. Lee from movies like Undercover Brother and Scary Movie 5, this film is about 4 lifelong friends played by Regina Hall, Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Tiffany Haddish. After growing distant over the years, the 4 travel to New Orleans together for the annual Essence Festival, looking to relive their sisterhood and tap into their rarely used wild sides. Their adventure, which includes cheating husbands, plenty of gossip, late night drinkings, and a little something called grapefruiting, which we're not going to talk about here, but you can look up later. Co-writer Kenya Barris, known for creating the series Blackish and its spin-offs, teamed up with Tracy Oliver and Erica Rivinoja, who together based the script on their own experiences with their female friends. And the result was a hit, making over $140 million at the box office, becoming the first film that was produced, written, directed by, and starring African Americans to cross the $100 million mark.
She was tripping.
Yeah, now I'm just happy Freaknik Lisa is back.
Hey.
Right? Too bad all that pent-up energy is going to waste.
Along with the film's all-star cast, which includes Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett Smith, reuniting more than 20 years after starring together in 1996 Set It Off, the film also features a handful of celebrity cameos from stars like Sean Combs, Neo, Mariah, and New Edition. I love a great musical cameo, but we have to take just one moment to remind y'all, do not look up grapefruiting while you're at work. Both fans and critics were definitely on board with this girl's trip, with IndieWire's Jenna Murata writing that the bond between the four women, and the occasional lack thereof, demands repeat viewing. And a critics' consensus that called this a rare R-rated comedy that pushes boundaries to truly comedic effect and anchors its laughs in compelling characters brought to life by a brilliantly assembled cast. And oh, what a trip this list was. I want to thank you all for joining us as we discussed our list of the best movies that celebrate Black joy. Now, go out and find some of these on your own so you can feel the joy at home. Thank you all for watching RT Essentials. I'm Jacqueline, and we'll see y'all next time.